Welcome to Bears on Tap, hosted by Kyle Juice Michalski, Quinten Q Krzysko, Sonny Verma, and the one and only Ron Luce. Bringing you all the news, analysis, and opinions on the charter franchise, Chicago Bears.
And welcome back, folks. I am running a solo show this evening, but the Chicago Bears just lost their 9th straight game, 34-17 against the Detroit Lions at home at Soldier Field in Chicago. Rough look, but I can't start with the positives here. I got to start with some of the negatives because it's tough. This defense, they couldn't stop a nosebleed today. Right. And the Lions got off to such a easy lead between the two fumbles early in the game that led to points for the Lions. I mean, Bears' first possession of the game. They're driving down the field. Let's see. I thought their first one. Okay, second possession of the game. I'm sorry. Driving down the field. There's a drop snap, fumbled snap. Detroit gets it. They're already up 3-0. Now they're up 10-0. And then again, Rome Odunze gets a pass, fumbles the football. Detroit picks it up. Suddenly, 10-0 becomes 13-0. And then before you know it, it's 20-0, and the Bears offense gets going, shows some signs of life. These fumbles were they killed you today. The defense's inability to stop the run killed you today, and their inability to stop the pass. I mean, Jared Goff put up 336 yards and 3 touchdowns on him. Meanwhile, Jahmyr Gibbs put up 109 yards rushing. The Lions totaled 146 yards and 4.6 yards per carry rushing. That's tough. That's a tough look. It's tough. I mean, what are we talking about here, guys? It's week 16, lost season. Bears are sitting here at 4-10 now, 4-11 now. I want to be angry about it. I want to sit here and scream and yell at you guys and be like, it's unacceptable. It's this, it's that. Fire someone. But what does it matter? I think change is coming. I think Kevin Warren is getting ready to make some serious changes with the Bears front office, with their head coaching staff. Maybe he doesn't, but I think he does. I think that there's a lot coming, and it sucks to be sitting here in this purgatory right now. As a Bears fan, as a football fan, there's so much more that we wanted from this season. And I was talking to I'm at my parents' place for Christmas in Charlotte right now, and I was talking to my dad while watching the game, and it's like, a team that sucks, that's supposed to suck, I can watch that pretty easily. I can find players on the team who I'm specifically watching that season when week 1 approaches and say, I'm watching this guy's development. I'm watching for this guy to break out a little bit. I want to see something from this guy, because you're talking from a team building perspective. You're looking for development. You're looking for growth. But Bears this year, when there's expectations on a roster and they just fail to meet it so miserably, every game becomes that much harder to watch. It becomes that much harder to pay attention to sit through, to care about. And I feel like that's the point where I'm at with this season. I'm apathetic to this season the rest of the way, right? And I hate to say that. I hate to be sitting here sounding like that, but it's the truth. It's where we're at as Bears fans right now, and it's hard to mask that. I enjoy what I saw from Caleb Williams. That was fun. I did feel like, Bears go into half down, what was it, like 20-something to 13? Down 27-13. I felt like they still had a chance in that game because of Caleb Williams at that point, because of some of the offensive firepower they have. But that brings me to my point of this roster's too talented to be this bad. This roster's too talented to only put up 17 points despite 330 yards passing. There's too much. Keenan Allen went off today. 141 yards on 9 catches. He had Romo Dunze adding 77 yards. He had DJ Moore adding almost 70 yards himself. That's a strong passing offense, strong passing performance. It can't result in only 17 points. And your defense is the whole other question here, which I've already kind of rambled on about a little, but nothing on this team works right now. And I just can't help but think that comes back to the culture. It comes back to the coaching, which they've made a change there. The Bears gave Thomas Brown his chance here. It's not working. I don't expect anything to come from that. But we look at Caleb Williams' numbers, 26 of 40, 334 yards, added another 34 yards rushing on 6 carries. I mean, he dropped back 42 times before accounting for scrambles, probably something like 45 or 46 after you account for scrambles. Once again, no interceptions, though. I didn't feel like he put the ball in harm's way very much this week. Like in past weeks, there were some moments where he put the ball in harm's way. This time, not so much. And I mean, I see this stat here on Twitter from Eric Edholm that he cited NFL research on it, that Caleb Williams has now lost 9 starts in which he threw 0 interceptions. That's now the most such losses in a single season since quarterback starts were first tracked in 1950. His interceptionless attempt streak is now 326 pass attempts. That's more than 100 attempts over the previous longest rookie streak in NFL history, and more than 100 more than the previous longest Bears streak in franchise history. The guy, yeah, there are some dropped interceptions here and there for every player, but he's doing some really good stuff with protecting the football. And now, I mean, he had 330 yards, 2 touchdowns on 42 pure dropbacks before accounting for scrambles. The guy's doing some good stuff with the football. And this tweet from Kevin Fishbane also stood out to me. Caleb Williams is the 5th quarterback all time with 15 or more touchdown passes and 5 or fewer interceptions in his first 15 career starts, joining Robert Griffin III, Damon Heward, Dak Prescott, and CJ Stroud. 3 out of those 4 names are really good company. I can't sit here and say I know anything worthwhile about Damon Heward, but there's stuff to like from it. And we got Scott from Iowa here in the comments saying he didn't watch a single second of the game today. It was a great Sunday. I'm a little jealous of you, Scott. Not gonna lie. I mean, I was listening to the first half on the radio because I had to go pick up my sister from the airport, and then I watched the entire second half, and it was just like the whole time it was just, I don't know. My Sunday might have been better if I just hadn't watched it. It might be in a better spot from it. But moving on to some of what happened in the game. We saw Tevin Jenkins go down with a calf injury. He was doubtful to return. Who knows? Maybe he might shut it down for the rest of the year. I wouldn't be shocked if he decides to battle through it the rest of the way for his contract situation to try to show, I'm playing as many games as possible. Maybe that happens. Maybe it doesn't. Braxton Jones also went down with a foot injury, not an even worse outlook than doubtful. He was out. On Twitter, we have Mason West at West Sports PT saying, for those asking, I'm thinking patella tendon rupture for Braxton Jones. That injury would be season ending with a 6 to 12 month return. That's brutal. If that's true, if that's how it plays out, that's Mason's best guess based on what he saw on the TV. But if that's the case, your plan at left tackle for next year might have just gone down the drain, right? Like, to me, the plan was you drafted Karan Amagaji this year. Maybe he might be ready to start next year, but more likely than not, he's a 2-year project to me, which means that you were still counting on Braxton Jones to be your starter next year. Now with the 6 to 12 month return window, if that injury is indeed what happened to him, now suddenly the Bears need a new left tackle. And that throws a change up on their whole offseason. Because to me, the offseason was going to be about finding new guards, seeing if you can find an upgrade at center. I'm not sold that there's an easy answer there, but at guard, I think there are clear answers to upgrade. And that being how you solidify this O line, now you might need a left tackle. And in the comments, Scott saying that your first round pick should be the best left tackle. Will Campbell looks like a guard to me, based on his physical traits, mainly his arm length. There have been reports of him having potentially sub 33-inch arms. I mean, we'll see in draft season what they come in at, but I have serious doubts about an offensive tackle with that short of arms being able to stay at offensive tackle. I like Will Campbell's tape. I think that he is based on that report, to me, he seems like an offensive tackle in an offensive guard's body, which is something that always worries me a little. Now, moving down the draft board, you start talking about Kelvin Banks out of Texas. I think he's an offensive guard in an offensive tackle's body. Like, I think both those guys, and there's a very real chance they end up being offensive guards in the NFL. So, beyond that, I mean, we're talking about, I think it's Josh Simmons out of Ohio State, who I love Josh Simmons' tape. I really loved what I saw from him. His feet, his foot speed, his recovery quickness, his loose hips, his ability to swivel on a dime. There was a lot that I really liked in his tape, and he looked like a special player physically. But he's coming off an ACL tear. He tore his ACL in October, I think it was, which made it like, can you use top 10 pick in a guy who tore his ACL? Medicals are going to matter a lot on that. We don't have answers yet, but like, maybe that is what you look at doing there. Maybe that first round pick, maybe Josh Simmons is a guy that you consider there now because Braxton Jones might be gone. But then that's one less avenue that you have to fix offensive guard. Because I've been sitting here thinking Kelvin Banks, probably a first round pick. Like, looks like he might be a first round pick. That's one of your guard fixes in my mind. That's been one of the things that I've been thinking, like, that guy would be a really nice fix in this offensive line at offensive guard. But if you're using that pick on an offensive tackle, now you have to rely on 2 free agent offensive guards, or maybe you have to rely on a second round pick becoming one of those starting offensive guards, which has happened, which is possible, but it's not ideal. Like, it just pushes everything one notch towards the less ideal scenario. And I don't know. I mean, I'm just rambling at this point. Let's look at the comments here. Bear Truth saying D-line will probably be the best value for us unless, you guessed it, if Simmons is cleared. Yeah, and truly, like, if D-line is the best value at 9, is assuming the Bears are even at 9, like that's just an assumption right now. But if there's a defensive lineman who makes the most sense, I can't sit here and say that's the wrong answer either, because, maybe you can find that guard in the second round. You add one in free agency, one in the second round, but again, you still end up with the left tackle question. Like, Josh Simmons just became a real play to me with the Braxton Jones injury, which I don't love. I don't love the situation that puts the Bears in. And I hope that ACL injury is clear, but I think his potential sky high. Like, I watch his tape. He can move people, and he has the right demeanor. Now, let's see here. And again, bare truth. You pick an O-lineman, he's got to be plug and play. I don't know if Josh Simmons is plug and play. Like, I think there is a development arc there, which does add another degree of risk. Is he a guy who's going to step in and be better than Braxton Jones right away? I doubt it. Rookie offensive tackles tend to not be that good. Like, they're usually projects. They usually take some time. And Ant Mass in the comments here asking what's stronger in the draft, D-line or O-line. I think D-line would be a stronger first pick and then go guard and center. Yeah, I mean, I think D-line is stronger in this class, especially versus offensive tackle. And traditionally, you can find interior offensive linemen in the second round. Like, that's a good spot to take guards. it's a really, really weak center class. One of the reasons I'm skeptical that you find a better player than Coleman Shelton for next year. And maybe you go sign Drew Dahlman, who's playing for the Atlanta Falcons right now. I think Dahlman's a fine player. I think you end up with some of the same stuff that you see with Coleman Shelton, where he's undersized. He's not that good in pass protection. He's a really good run blocker, though. He's better than Shelton in that aspect, but was the pass pro issues still are present. And we got one of my co-hosts couldn't make it today, Sonny Verma, in the comments saying, worst part is the performance happened in front of Ben Johnson, like trying to impress a girl to ask her out and you fall on your face walking up to her. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. A small part of me wonders if Ben Johnson was pulling out some of his A game to try to impress the Bears, which, ideally you'd like to see the Bears give a little bit more today against Ben Johnson. But I do think that there is, I don't know. It seemed like he had some bullets in the chamber ready for this one. And I think it was DeMarcus Walker actually said something about like really complimentary of Ben Johnson today. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Let's see here. Yeah, so Cooch Usaid Koshel at Usaid Koshel on Twitter said, when you're down 13-20, or said, quoted from DeMarcus Walker following the game, when you're down 13 to 20 points, the offensive play caller has dealer's choice when it comes to his play calls. Ben Johnson does a great job of calling plays and dialing things up. He did a great job of switching up the run, the play action with the screens together that kind of kept the defense on its heels. Sounds like Johnson gave him a little more than he did the previous time they played. And who knows, maybe that's something that maybe there's a little more to that. Maybe there's not. I mean, it could be reading into things that I just want to happen. But Scott in the comments saying sign Ronnie Stanley. I'm gonna have to go watch a lot of Ronnie Stanley tape before I get truly comfortable with that. Like, yes, it's better than nothing or some random guy off the street or probably maybe a rookie. But I don't know, man. 31 years old. He's dealt with injuries each of the last few years up until this year. Like missed time in 23, missed time in 22, missed the whole season in 21, missed 3/4 of the season in 20. And I know I've seen a handful of reps from Ronnie Stanley this year where he got beat like a drum. And that were like, if I were paying him franchise left tackle money, that would worry me. So I'd need to watch a lot more of the tape to get comfortable. Because like I said, I saw a couple reps. Like it doesn't mean that that's who he is now, but that's my impression of him right now because those are the reps I saw. If Ben was that good, why didn't he put up 50 plus? It's a good question. I mean, maybe he just didn't need to. Maybe they were just trying to run the clock down towards the end. I mean, I think they had some opportunities to. Let's see. Let's see what the last few drives look like them for. Yeah, they turned the ball over on downs in the end zone that one time. Maybe that came down to a little execution, but like, I don't know. If they get that touchdown there you're talking 41 points, is the difference between 41 and 50 that wide? Like, I don't think it is. And yeah, they're suck this year. It sucks. It sucks because it's like I was saying at the start of the show. There were expectations and they suck, which is it makes it hurt that much more. And then any chance James Daniels comes back to the Bears if he clears medically? I maybe if there's a new GM in town, I think everything's on the table. Like I never quite understood why they moved on from James Daniels when they did, and he's been solid every year in Pittsburgh until this year when he got hurt. So we'll see. I mean, if Ryan Poles is still the GM, I wouldn't expect it. Just from James Daniels' standpoint, probably doesn't want to come back here after that. Like basically, if my memory serves me correctly, Ryan Poles kind of borderline insulted James Daniels' play demeanor as he left. Like he took a bit of a shot in the media towards the offensive linemen who were on the roster currently, and then let James Daniels walk. To me, that read as a bit of a shot at James Daniels, but maybe I'm reading too much into it. Yeah, good comment from Bear Truth here on Ronnie Stanley. Baltimore rarely allows good players to go. If Baltimore's letting a guy walk, there might be a good reason why. But look, guys, this is generally going to be a bit quicker of a show since I'm running it solo. Unfortunately, Sonny wasn't able to make it with the holidays and some of the Lockdown Illini stuff that he's got going on. And Ron fell ill. He attended the game today. I wonder if that has something to do with him falling ill, because it was, if I went to that game, I might be sick. Like that was brutal. So heart goes out to you, Ron. You powered through that game, and it made you sick. No, but seriously, you coming down with the flu maybe, or some type of bug that's going around. Hope you get better, Ron. But guys, it's a rough watch. We've got 2 more of them. We'll be here to talk through each of those 2. Quick note, there will not be an offensive line show this week with Christmas going on. Bears next game against the Seahawks at home at Soldier Field Thursday night. I do not believe we will be getting a show out for a preview or a post game on that one. We might do a post game. Stay tuned on that, but there will be no preview because it's Christmas, guys. Christmas is too good of a time to spend talking about our disappointment in the Bears and about how, how rough it is as a Bears fan right now, because it's time. Even if Christmas isn't what you celebrate, maybe it's Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, any of the holidays around, or maybe it's just New Year's that you care about. Maybe you don't care about any of it, but it's a time to spend with family. It's time to get time off work. It's too good of a time to be worrying too much about all the Chicago Bears crap that they give us. So I hope all you guys viewing have a happy holidays, have some great time with your family, and as always, bear down.